Well, happy Monday, everybody. This is my new cameraman, Randall. There is no stress that cannot be handled with prayer and chocolate. That's our new theme for this month. And we are trying something new. We actually found a site called Pause Cam that you can stop and start stop and start videos without having to have them spliced together. So Randy is off today simply because his work, the website that he works from, he's in the title business and does commercial surveys, and the website is down today. So he's off, and he has agreed to help me video a couple of different things today. One is King Ranch casserole, and another is German chocolate frosting. The weather is like high of 71 today. It's gorgeous. Well, actually, it's not gorgeous sunny, but yes, it is. It's awesome. So we have the windows open and loving this cold weather. So anyway, so he wouldn't get bored, I told him I would let him do these videos for me. So I'm going to give the camera to him, and then he's going to film the German chocolate frosting while I stir. So you ready, honey?
I'm ready.
Okay. Well, I started thinking about this because I made some German chocolate cupcakes for our grandson, Sevi, today, and I had enough batter left over to make one layer of German chocolate. So I started thinking about years ago when I was a new bride, back in the 70s, early 70s, but anyway, I remember one time making German chocolate frosting, and it called for 3 egg yolks, but I was only doing enough frosting for one layer, and I stood there at the sink and I tried to divide the yolk in half because I thought, well, if it calls for 3 for a whole recipe, I only need 1.5 for half of the recipe, and not realizing that 2 egg yolks certainly don't make any difference, except it might make it just a little bit rich, which is what you want, of course. So I just started thinking about that today, how so many years ago when I tried to divide egg yolks, only to realize now that it certainly doesn't hurt a recipe. It always helps, actually, to have extra egg yolks. So I'm making enough German chocolate frosting to frost this German chocolate cake layer. I just did a cake mix today just because Sevi is one of those kids that, it's our grandson, 16 years old. If it has sugar in it, he's going to eat it. And he eats them, he'll probably sit down and eat 4 or 5 different of the cupcakes tonight. So anyway, I just did a cake mix because it was easier, and I was trying to make King Ranch casserole today also. So I've already made one and taken it to them for dinner tonight, and I'm going to go ahead and put ours together after I finish this for tonight. But anyway, right now we're just doing the German chocolate frosting, and what it is it's actually a can of evaporated milk, and it's 3 egg yolks, a cup of sugar, a stick of butter. Honey, you might show our butter makes everything better, little sign. Shannon got me that. I love it. And vanilla and chopped pecans and coconut. But since I have the recipe...
Low calorie, I guess.
Very low calorie, yes, absolutely. But since I have cut it in half, I only used 7 ounces of the milk, which is, I used a half a cup. And I'll use half the amount that the recipe calls for the coconut and pecan. So when this gets thick, we'll add the vanilla, teaspoon of vanilla, and the coconut and pecans. Let it cool just a minute before we throw it onto the 1 layer German chocolate. And this is Randall's prize for tonight, for him doing all the videos for me today. He loves German chocolate cake, and with the homemade frosting on it, he'll never know if we don't tell him that it's not a homemade German chocolate cake.
I'm standing right here.
Because instead of the water that the recipe calls for on the cake mix, I always do. I put milk in it, and I add a little bit of sugar to the cake mix, and then it's a secret. Nobody ever knows it's not homemade. So, okay, the frosting's getting thick. You want to show that, honey? Zoom in. Zooming in. If y'all can hear this loud noise in the background, they're actually trimming the oak trees around this place, so it's been kind of loud all morning long. But we still have the windows open. It just feels so good outside. I love this weather. It just makes me literally want to stay in here and bake all day long. It's so awesome.
Okay.
All right. So I think it's pretty thick. Why don't you stop it so they don't get bored, honey? And then we'll start up again just when there, okay?
You're feeling it.
Hmm?
We're back.
All right, we're back. All right, the frosting is as thick as I really want it to be right now. So, I keep my coconut in the freezer just because it doesn't dry out as fast like that. And I put about half that it calls for of the vanilla. I think it called for a teaspoon, so I'll do about a half a teaspoon. Oops. And then the coconut, I'm just going to throw a handful in there. I don't like as much coconut as German chocolate recipe calls for a regular cake. So I'll just throw a handful in there. That's probably about maybe a third of a cup, not quite a third, maybe a fourth. And then pecans. And that's probably another fourth, I would think. So tonight, honey, do you care if I tell them what we were talking about in the car about the chocolate?
Hey,
What happened to your apron? You took your apron off.
yeah.
I thought you were cold with the window open. Okay. Anyway, we were talking in the car. I drove to take a casserole out to my son, a King Ranch casserole, and we were talking about Parkinson's. Randy is in your, 12th year? 13th year of Parkinson. And so he was asking me to look up while we were writing about the side effects of a certain drug that they have them take, Parkinson's patients take, and said, is it supposed to make me like sleepy or more, take more naps or whatever? So we're looking that up. And in so doing, I found a little question that somebody had put in there on the website, and it was talking about chocolate. So I started reading about it, and it said that chocolate is really good for Parkinson's patients. So we're going to start loading up on chocolate because that's one of my favorite things anyway. And so now we don't have to feel guilty when we eat chocolate.
Do you have Parkinson's?
No, but I'm supporting you, honey. I'm going to support you by every time you have to eat chocolate. I will do that with you because we're one. So anyway, this is thickening up just a little bit now, and I'm going to go ahead and stir it just for a couple of minutes and kind of get it thick. You can see it thickening up as it cools. That almost looks like the batter for the pralines we make, doesn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, who needs the cake when you have the German chocolate frosting? It's so good. I don't know what cold weather makes y'all want to make, but every time it gets days like this, I want either Mexican food or Italian food and cobblers. And last night we watched Paula Deen make her Mountain Dew apple cobbler with crescent rolls and I think 8 apple slices, and had a cup of butter and cinnamon and what was it, honey? Let's see, a cup of butter, a cup and a half of sugar, and 2 teaspoons of cinnamon. Then she poured that over the crescent rolls that had been wrapped around apples, and then she poured, I don't remember how many ounces, 12 ounces of Mountain Dew over that, and then baked it for 45 minutes. So, of course, now I have to go get apples and crescent rolls tomorrow, and so I can make those. So those looked amazing. Okay, I think this is thick enough now. We're going to start spooning it on the one layer that we have. And it, of course, thickens even more once it's totally cool. But I like it to drip down over the edge of the cake. This is a great way, if there's just 2 of you in the house and a whole German chocolate cake is too much for 2 of you, what I do is I will bake the 2 layers, and I wrap one layer, put it in the freezer, and then use the other one. And I have the frosting, just like we talked about here. And that way you've also got a layer in the fridge. If you have company come over unexpectedly or know they're coming over for the evening, you can get it out, make up your half order or half recipe of the German chocolate frosting. Now, if since Randy found out today that he the chocolate is good for his Parkinson's, I might talk him into. I have some chocolate frosting in the fridge. I might talk him into letting me just kind of nuke. I always say nuke. Put it in the microwave for just a minute and drizzle chocolate frosting. No, he said no, he doesn't want that. Okay, so we won't have the chocolate frosting. But anyway, here's your 1-layer German chocolate cake, and we'll have that tonight after we have King Ranch casserole. Thank y'all and have a great week.